Hi friends, it's Miss Julie from the Deerfield Public Library again. Thanks so much for joining me for our third and final Campfire Stories program of the summer. So we have our lovely pretend campfire here to keep us warm. So we're going to be reading some stories about camping and some cozy stories about bedtime as well. So my first story actually features this guy whose name is Little Critter. Some of you may have some of his books by Mercer Mayer, or your parents might even have had some of their books about him when they were little. And it's called Just a Little Too Little by Mercer Mayer, and it's published by Scholastic Inc. And he also did the illustrations. I'm going camping. I will sleep out in the woods. Mom says I'm a little too little and I should camp out in the backyard. I find a good campsite. I get the tent. Dad will have to help me. I'm not too little, but the tent is too big. I'm hungry now. I will build a campfire and cook hot dogs. Dad says I am a little too little to make my own campfire. Dad cooks hot dogs on the stove. I help, but they're not as good as they are outside. I'm not too little to build a race car. I go to Dad's shop. Dad, I say, I need a saw, a hammer, and some nails. Dad says I'm a little too little to use a sharp saw. We make a race car together. I am not too little for that. My race car is finished. I will ride down the big hill by myself. Dad rides with me because I'm just a little too little. The race car falls apart. We crash. I say, wow, that was fun, Dad. We go home. Maybe Dad is a little too big for race cars. Dad is tired, so I will help and get the leaves off our roof. Dad says, no, you are a little too little for that. I have a better idea. We can fix the tent for your camp out, Dad says. After that, we will eat dinner. I eat in my tent. My mom makes me take a bath, brush my teeth, and put on my pajamas. Then I get snacks and toys and go back out to the tent. I bring my bear, my favorite blanket, and a big flashlight. I am ready now. My little sister says, you'll be inside as soon as it's dark. It gets dark. It gets darker. The dark is big, but I am not a little too little because I can snuggle with my dad. The end. Okay. Next, we have the return of one of our favorite characters again, the lovely Pigeon. And this time, it's called Don't Let the Pigeon Stay Up Late. Words and Pictures by Mo Willems, published by Scholastic Inc. He's even got, if you've read the Knuffle Bunny books, he's holding Knuffle Bunny. Oh, good, it's you. Listen, it's getting late. I need to brush my teeth. Can you do me a favor? Don't let the pigeon stay up late. Thanks. First of all, I'm not even tired. In fact, I'm in the mood for a hot dog party. What do you say? No? I hear there's a good show about birds on TV tonight. Should be very educational. How about 5 more minutes? Come on, what's 5 minutes in the grand scheme of things? What? I'm not tired. You know, we never get to talk anymore. Tell me about your day. Oh, I've got a great idea. We could count the stars. Can I have a glass of water? Studies show that pigeons hardly need any sleep at all. It's the middle of the day in China. I'll go to bed early tomorrow night instead. Hey, ho, ho, this here pigeon just won't go. Please. My bunny wants to stay up too. You can't say no to a bunny, can you? Okay, that was not a yawn. I was stretching. I'm 110% awake. You haven't heard the last of me. Shh. Great work. Thanks. Good night. There, the pigeon fell asleep and he's dreaming about eating hot dogs with Knuffle Bunny. The end. Okay. I have a flannel story for you now, based on a very famous book called Goodnight Moon by Margaret Wise Brown. Some of you, maybe your parents read this to you before you go to bed. I know I've read it to both my boys before bed when they were younger. In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. And there were 3 little bears sitting on chairs and 2 little kittens and a pair of mittens and a little toy house and a young mouse. And a comb and a brush and a bowl full of mush. And a quiet old lady who was whispering, hush. Good night, room. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, light and the red balloon. Good night, bears and good night, chairs. Good night, kittens and good night, mittens. Good night, clocks and good night, socks. Good night, little house and good night, mouse. Good night, comb and good night, brush. Good night, nobody. Good night, mush. And good night to the old lady whispering, hush. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere. The end. Okay. That for a sec. Okay. Our next book is called Bedtime for Batman. I bet we've got a lot of superhero fans out there. The words are by Michael Dahl and the pictures are by Ethan Beavers and is published by Capstone. Each day the sun sets. Each evening a dark night rises. Stars cover the sky and shadows deepen. Suddenly, the hero gets a signal. He must get ready. Prepare the Batmobile. A great adventure awaits. Moments later, zoom, the hero speeds through the shadows. Then it's time to take care of business. The hero cleans up the daily grime and brushes aside his fears. Your dirty deeds are over. He must lock away whatever he can and throw away the key. For there are those who depend on him. Like this boy and this older lady, thank you. And those he can count on. It's up to you, old pals. The hero watches over them all. Look, up there, it's Batman. He is finally ready for the long night ahead. Good night, dark night. And here's a good bedtime checklist for Batman and all the fellow superheroes. Make sure you go to the potty, take a bath, get your pajamas on, brush your teeth, pick up your toys, have a story time, and then go to sleep. Okay, and for our last book, this is called Good Night Construction Site. And it's written by Sherry Dusky Rinker, illustrated by Tom Lichtenheld, and it is published by Chronicle Books. Down on the big construction site, the tough trucks work with all their might to build a building, make a road, to get the job done, load by load. The sun has set, the work is done, it's time for trucks to end their fun, so one by one they'll go to bed, to yawn and rest their sleepy heads, then wake up to another day of rough and tough construction play. Working hard to help his team, crane truck raises one last beam. Reaching, stretching, lifting high, he swings the beam into the sky. He'll set it down right on its mark, then off to bed, it's almost dark. He slowly folds his boom back in, and then with one last sleepy grin, he tucks himself in nice and tight, then cuddles up and says goodnight. Shh, good night, crane truck, good night. Spinning, churning all day long, cement mixer sings his whirly song. Now, he's weary and so dizzy from the fun that kept him busy. With one last spin, he pours the load. He's ready now to leave the road. He takes a bath, gets shiny bright, pulls up his chute, turns off the light. He cuts his engine, slows his drum, and dreams sweet dreams of twirly fun. Shh. Good night, cement mixer. Good night. Dump truck loves to work and haul. He carries loads both big and small. He moves the dirt from place to place, then dumps it with a happy face. One final load spills on the heap. Crunch! Now dump truck's tired and wants to sleep. He lowers his bed, locks his gate, rests his wheels, it's getting late. He dims his lights, then shuts his doors, and soon his engine's slow to snores. Shh, shh, shh. Good night, dump truck, good night. Oh, and he's snoring so loud, this guy's saying, hey, pipe down. Pushing with his mighty blade, bulldozer works to smooth the grade. He clears the way to level ground and fills the air with thunderous sound. Roar! No one's as tough and strong as he, but now he's sleepy as can be. He puffs some smoke out of his stack, turns off his engine, stops his track. He curls into his soft dirt bed and dreams of busy days ahead. Shh, good night, bulldozer, good night. Scooping gravel, dirt, and sand, excavator shapes the land. He digs and lifts throughout the day. Arg! But now it's time to end his play. A few more holes to dig, and soon he'll roll to bed beneath the moon. He twirls upon his bumpy track, pulls up his boom, stretches his back. He sets his scoop down on the ground and snuggles up without a sound. Shh, good night, excavator, good night. These big, big trucks, so tough and loud, they work so hard, so rough and proud. Tomorrow is another day, another chance to work and play. Turn off your engine, stop your tracks. Relax your wheels, your stacks and backs. No more huffing and puffing, team. It's time to rest your head and dream. Construction site all tucked in tight. The day is done, turn off the light. Great work today. Now, shh, good night. The end. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today, boys and girls. I hope to see you from your house and my house for future story times. Bye-bye.